The episode opens with a reminder of the complicated emotional developments from previous episodes. Elizabeth was contemplating her relationship with Jack in the presence of Rosemary. Jack had affirmed to Elizabeth that she was the only one he wanted to pursue, and he decided to stay in Coal Valley instead of going to Cape Fullerton. Elizabeth had also promised herself she would not leave. The episode officially begins in the classroom, where Jack is drawing a comet on the blackboard for the students, explaining that a comet's tail is actually just evaporated material and dust. He even offers to draw a constellation if Elizabeth wishes. Elizabeth, still appearing a bit reserved after past misunderstandings, reminds Jack that class has started and asks him to sit down if he wishes to speak. She begins her lesson on astronomy, talking about Halley's Comet, which would soon appear over Coal Valley. A student asks if his father in heaven can see the comet, and Elizabeth gently reassures him that their departed loved ones are always watching over them, their love always surrounding them. Just then, Rosemary Levos enters the classroom, apologizing for oversleeping and interrupting. She quickly captivates the children with stories about New York, about Times Square ablaze with lights and towering skyscrapers, which they find immensely fascinating. Elizabeth tries to steer the class back to the lesson about the sky, but Rosemary has already captured the students' full attention. Elizabeth subtly asks if Abigail is looking towards the future, and Abigail admits perhaps she is, but also reminds Elizabeth not to forget why Bill Avery is there, to investigate the mine explosion. Wyatt, the intelligent young miner, comes to return books to Elizabeth, mentioning he works even on Sundays to help his family. Bill Avery and Jack examine fragments from the explosion site, which indicate excessively high methane levels in the mine shaft, turning it into a death trap. Simultaneously, Adam Miller, the miner who lost a leg, gathers the townsfolk, presenting his plan to build a new church and schoolhouse for the town with his own hands, if everyone can contribute a little money for materials. The townspeople are moved by his idea, but many worry about not having much money to donate. Mayor Ramsey suggests that Henry Gowen's mining company could make a substantial donation. Gowen, put on the spot, reluctantly agrees but states the company's funds are tight due to expenses for Bill Avery's frivolous investigation. Abigail objects, stating no investigation is frivolous when 46 men have died. Gowen tries to discredit Bill Avery by hinting at his close relationship with Abigail. A debate ensues about whether to accept Gowen's money, and Elizabeth sides with Abigail, arguing that children can learn anywhere, even in a saloon, just as Abraham Lincoln once studied in a log cabin. Rosemary reveals to everyone that Elizabeth has received a prestigious teaching offer and intends to leave, causing a stir among the students. Elizabeth, flustered, explains it's just an offer and she hasn't decided. Bill Avery is attacked by two unknown assailants at the mine, they steal his forensic kit. Abigail anxiously tends to Bill's injuries, and he doesn't miss the chance to tease her about having to stitch him up. Rosemary, finding Jack not at the jail, goes to Elizabeth's house looking for him, intentionally acting familiar and reminiscing about old times, which makes Elizabeth even more uncomfortable. Jack returns and learns about Bill's attack. He and Elizabeth have a private conversation. Elizabeth admits she was worried about him. Jack explains he heard what happened at the town meeting and apologizes to Elizabeth. He assures her that whether she decides to leave or stay, he will support her, but also says the town needs her. He mentions Elizabeth deserves to teach in a real school, not a saloon, and he believes that will happen soon in Coal Valley. Wyatt shows Elizabeth a model of a ventilation fan he built based on knowledge from books and the phonograph, hoping it could help circulate air in the mine and prevent another disaster. Elizabeth is incredibly proud and amazed by Wyatt's intelligence, calling him an extraordinary young man. She offers to telegraph her father's patent attorney to help Wyatt. Bill Avery, though injured, is determined to continue his investigation. He confronts Henry Gowen, accusing him of being behind the attack and theft. Gowen denies it and continues to threaten Abigail, saying he has detrimental evidence regarding her husband Noah's reputation. He warns he will ruin Abigail if she and Bill don't stop. Jack intervenes, warning Gowen and asserting his authority to arrest him if necessary. In the evening, Rosemary performs at the saloon, singing a love song she says was playing when she received a marriage proposal from a man she used to love and still loves, clearly aiming it at Jack. Jack feels awkward. Later, he and Rosemary have a private talk. Jack admits Rosemary's appearance has stirred him, bringing back old memories, but affirms the relationship he wants to pursue is with Elizabeth. Rosemary, though disappointed, doesn't give up hope and says she will stay in Coal Valley. The next day, a solemn ceremony is held. Mayor Ramsey announces that, thanks to the generosity of an anonymous donor, construction of the new church and schoolhouse will begin tomorrow. Everyone is joyful and assumes the donor is Henry Goen, but Mayor Ramsey corrects them, stating it wasn't Goen. Elizabeth asks if it was her father, but the mayor says no, it was someone equally generous, with far less money to spare. Jack steps forward, and everyone realizes he is the anonymous donor, having contributed his entire reward money. Rosemary praises Jack's nobility and leads 3 cheers for him. Jack humbly says he was just doing his job and wanted to help the people of Coal Valley, who have become very important to him, especially one person. Goen, not wanting to be outdone, announces that his company's lawyer has brought documents proving Noah Stanton was responsible for the mine tragedy. He accuses Noah of leading the men into the mine knowing the unsafe conditions, motivated by his desperate financial situation and heavy debts. Goen even presents Noah's pocket watch as evidence, suggesting what was once a symbol of hope might now be an admission of guilt. Abigail and the other townspeople are furious and heartbroken by Goen's accusations. Elizabeth comforts Abigail, asserting that the truth will come out and Goen will not succeed. She believes Abigail has many friends who will stand by her. Abigail, though devastated, maintains her faith in Noah. Bill Avery informs Jack that Judge Black, a notoriously strict judge, will arrive in town tomorrow to preside over the case. Jack is concerned because Goen has managed to sway half the town into believing Noah Stanton is to blame. Rosemary enters, announcing she will be leaving tomorrow. Jack and Rosemary have a final conversation. Jack apologizes to Rosemary, and she says she is sorry too. The next morning, the entire town gathers as Judge Jedediah Black arrives. He appears to be a decisive man, not easily swayed. He requests the witness list and announces the trial will begin at 8 o'clock sharp. Jack and Elizabeth take a private walk on a hill overlooking the valley. Jack gives Elizabeth a small, handcrafted wooden gift. He explains that he finds it hard to express his feelings in words. He confesses that after much thought, he realizes Elizabeth is the one, the only one, and though he said he would support her decision, he truly doesn't want her to leave. Elizabeth, moved, tells him she isn't going anywhere, Coal Valley is where she belongs. The episode concludes with Elizabeth writing in her journal, affirming her decision to stay in Coal Valley, where she believes true happiness awaits, a life interwoven with sadness, wonder, hope, and joy. Rosemary, before boarding the stagecoach to leave, bids Elizabeth a friendly farewell and wishes her the best, parting as friends. Rosemary also reveals she isn't returning to New York but is just moving to a nicer room in a nearby town where the mayor has agreed to help her start a theater group, implying she will, after all, be staying in the Coal Valley area.